Today, it's time to make fun of Marjorie Taylor Greene because I know that it's one of Pump's favorite things to do, and I'm all about being the best friend that I can possibly be. Marjorie Taylor Greene is having a very difficult time understanding that an executive order signed by the President of the United States doesn't apply in the United Kingdom. She can't seem to wrap her head around it. So Kylie, pull up the confusion here. So a British press is reporting the British government has refused to adopt Trump's order renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, insisting it will continue on using the original name. Marjorie Taylor Greene is not having it. She retweets with comment. This is why Congress must pass my bill renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. This funds the actual renaming on all mapping in our government. We have to force this to happen, and we should. We rename post offices all the time. This isn't complicated. What I have to say to you, Marjorie, is the post offices in the United States, that's what we call them. But an international body of water, everybody else in the whole entire world calls it the Gulf of Mexico. You cannot make the Brits call the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. And the fact that she doesn't understand how stupid she is, to me, is at the epicenter, and it is the heartbeat of the MAGA movement.
I completely agree. And I have two things that stick out to me on that. Number one, DOGE, the Department of Government Spending, or whatever the hell it's
Efficiency.
Efficiency. Is it an efficient use of money to remap every map in government for Gulf of America versus Gulf of Mexico? Does that make a good, efficient way to spend money? And my second point is, I realize, based on having observed Marjorie Taylor Greene over the course of the last few years, that she is not smart. She's anti-facts. She's anti-science. The fact that there is nobody in her inner circle, not an aide, not a staff member, not a friend, that would tell her, I understand your frustration and outrage that Britain won't do what this executive order says, but we cannot force another country to do anything. That's what's terrifying, which leads me back to your beginning sentence. This is the heartbeat of MAGA.
I have bad news for you. The thought that somebody in the room is going to have a rational thought and be the voice of reason. That was sadly Trump's first bench in his first term, the ones that now he's removed all of the Secret Service protections for. And these people were neocon, conservative whack jobs. What remains is this kind of quackery, people that do not understand international law versus United States laws. And so she is dumber than a box of hot rocks.
Right.
She always has been. And what's so dangerous about people like Marjorie is she thinks she's the smartest member of Congress. And she believes that she would pass a polygraph with true serum in an IV drip into her arm. Are you the smartest member of Congress? And she'd be like, you're goddamn right I am. Passed with flying colors. But this brings me to another clip that Marge posts on her Twitter. Kylie, play the clip.
As one of the few members of Congress that literally stood on my faith and biblical truth for the past 4 years, I had to fight when the voice of truth was absolutely being silenced here in Washington, D.C. You know, I kept a sign outside my office since February of 2021 that said there are only two genders, male and female. And I kept that sign outside my office and had it attacked. People would throw it on the floor. People would tear it up to pieces. And I'd have another one made and put it back up there. And we saw President Trump declare and sign an executive order that is the position of the U.S. government that there are only two genders. And so I'm so thankful to see our president come out and sign an executive order stating an absolute truth that I have had to be fighting here in Washington, D.C., literally alone. And so this is...
Yeah.
There she is, a warrior, alone, standing in her biblical truth. She's the only one. She is the only one, per her words, that has stood on her biblical foundations, that there are only two genders. And so my thing is like, okay, you feel like a tough guy. You said there's, two genders. That makes you feel real tough. So now what's next? Here's what MAGA's done. They pretty much banned abortion nationwide. Right. They have removed trans people from, government documentation, noting it's only two genders. You cannot fly the pride flag anywhere. You can basically have a gun anywhere you want to, wherever you want to. What's left? What else are they going to go after? Because we know they're not interested in the economy.
Right.
What else are you going to go after? You've got women where you want them. You're going to get, you've reversed employment discrimination from the 1960s. So now you can hire and fire somebody if they're female or gay, or you don't like the color of their skin. So what's next?
What I fear is next is he is going to start locking up American citizens that disagree with him. You've already heard that he is giving loyalty tests to government workers, and he wants them to report, like snitch on each other if somebody is not loyal to him or defies his decree, which moves into Democratic or states with Democratic governors. He's going to start putting people in jail is my next fear. And I just want to add one more thing to Marjorie Taylor Greene. She has a very masculine affect. I mean, she doesn't strike me as the most feminine person in the world. So she, of all people, should have empathy for people that do not fit in one of the two boxes, but she doesn't, because she's a fucking nutball.
She is. And I think it's really the most juvenile, low-hanging fruit sort of thing to pick on people based on their appearances, and is a real window into the soul of people. And this, obviously, this is Donald Trump's number one go-to. And we all went to school when we were younger, and you would have a boy that maybe seemed a little bit effeminate, and you'd have a girl that was, we would call a tomboy. And the fact that somehow the government thinks how that person presents is their business is antithetical to the tenets that we believe, that we are a free nation and that you're free to be who you want. You're free to love who you want. And I think something that could be beneficial is if somebody is interviewing an anti-gay politician, let's say it's Mike Johnson. I think an appropriate question to Moses Mike Johnson would be, have you ever watched gay porn? Have you ever beat off and thought about penises? And he would say, oh my God, that's none of your business, blah, blah, blah. And then the journalist would say, exactly. Right. Exactly, Mike. It's nobody's business, because I would bet when rubber hits the road, if we were to look at Mike Johnson's internet search history, it's not good. It's not something that he would be forward facing. I don't think this is missionary style, Mormon secret underwear panty style sex that he's trafficking in. And I don't give a shit what porn people watch, as long as it's between two consenting adults, but they care because they're always up to something wrong. Which brings me to my next point. The big thing MAGA would say all the time, I just want inflation down. Right. The price of eggs are out of control. So all of the people that posted nonstop ad nauseum during the election, price of eggs, have all gone silent. Kylie, put the graph up. Here we go. So here are the price of eggs. And just yesterday, they hit an all-time high. This is Trump's America. This is Trumpflation. And you can see that eggs are now more expensive than they ever were. And this does not come as a surprise to me because I watched a lot of the campaign, and Trump would stand there in front of the camera and he would say, you know, people are worried about groceries. And that's an interesting word.
Right.
Groceries, because he's never been grocery shopping in his entire life. The groceries have always just been stocked for him. So the word grocery was so intriguing to him because it was foreign to him, because his entire life from childhood to now, groceries have always just been in their place and never low and exactly where they need to be at all times.
He is so entitled. I'm sure somebody served him whatever was in the pantry or in the refrigerator. I don't even know that he's been in a refrigerator. But one thing that an article I read, I want to point out is since Trump has made an executive order that certain health agencies cannot communicate their data, and with the bird flu on the rise, egg prices are only going to continue to go up because part of keeping the bird flu contained is knowing where it is so that you can protect your own flock. I don't know what you call it, your chickens, to protect them. But without this information coming from these health agencies, there's not going to be any way to stop the spread or notify other farmers that this exists. So the price of eggs is at an all-time low of what it's going to be based on the first 3 days of Trump's presidency.
We all know it wasn't about the eggs.
Right.
We all know that it wasn't like James Carville said back when he was Bill Clinton's campaign manager. It's the economy, stupid. This last race was, it's the racism, stupid. And that has been proven in these very long, horrific first week of the second coming of this insane convicted felon. But I just want to leave everybody with a moment to let you all know that you're not alone, and that feeling like, what the fuck? And oh my God, do I watch? Do I not watch? What do I do? Number one, we all have to stay engaged. But number two, you're not alone. And I just want to play this clip for you right here in closing.
What do you say, Michael?
Yeah, I mean, this is what I would say to Stuart Rhodes. Go fuck yourself.
Okay.
You're a liar.
We didn't obviously get to beep that word out, but obviously this is personal to you, Michael. This is very personal to you.
Okay. Here's the thing, like, that is more than half of America right now.
Agreed.
Go fuck yourself. And we are going to have to engage and find each other in platforms like this and other platforms of independent news that will tell you exactly what your eyes are seeing is exactly what you're seeing, and not being gaslit. And so please subscribe to our channel. We're going to be cranking out more and more content. We know sometimes it's difficult, but we try to make it funny. And we'll see you all later.